We're now back to another Zoom session. And this time I'm playing at night, so maybe some more recreationals compared to last time, but we'll just take it as it comes. Pretty easy 3-bet right away. Good hands on both tables. If I do get 4-bet with ace-queen suited, pretty much pure calling in these positions. Though I definitely don't love it. Okay, our opponent eventually folds. Seven is a weird spot with everyone being a short stack, but the fact that he opened to just 2.15x or so, I would 3-bet this hand, but now that the button 3-bet, just a pretty easy fold. Jack 10 off is actually really gross on table 1. I don't know if this gets in as a call. I am going to call, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a full pre. And we're already going to be in a not a great spot with the Jack 10. So I think on table 2 I'm going to mix in some raises and some calls. Like honestly, versus this sizing, I lean slightly more towards a raise. I think I can definitely raise some hands like King Jack and King 10 for value here. My opponent bet calls, turn is a deuce. I honestly just think he ends up having a bunch of queens and maybe hands like ace jack and ace 10. I know I block both of those, but his sizing on the flop just leads me to believe that he's like pretty capped at a hand, like maybe like ace queen. And I think ace queen on the turn is gonna have a really tough time calling. Okay, so yeah, our opponent just has king queen on table 1, and we made a fine turn fold. Ace 4 off on table 2, I'm going to mix in some 3-bets and some calls. Just going to randomize. I will be 3-betting this time. And ace queen, very easy 3-bet. A little bit weird. We have a limp and a 3x from the small blind. I probably went a tad too big, but I think it's not a big deal. And on this board, I'm just going to be c-betting pretty small. I think he's going to end up having a decent amount of like small pocket pairs and some medium suited connectors that just simply cannot continue on this board. Like even if he has a hand like 7s, I expect him to just check fold. And I think on this turn, with ace queen, I think it's a very natural check. Pretty good river. I mean, he shouldn't really have 6s in his range. Wow. It's a really tough spot. He bet really fast. I think with the price, I got a call. I just think he could have some random, like, semi-bluff hand, like 10-9 or 10-8 suited or something. Okay, so he turns a 5 into a bluff. Yeah. I think his value range on the river there is like kind of, it's tough, right? Like I think if you had a hand like ace jack, you'd probably go larger, and I do block ace jack, which is relevant. Blocking the queen is good too, right? Blocking hands like queen 10 and king queen. Then his value range is going to be hands potentially like king jack and king 9, and then I don't know if he has too much else. And then of course the couple 2 pairs that I do block. Ace king, very easy cold 4-bet. We are slightly deeper, so I think normally I'd go to like something like 40. I think the fact that we're a tad deeper, I'm just going to go to like 44. And if I do get 5-bet jammed on, I think it'll be a pretty easy fold. I mean, we're like 138 blinds-ish effective. And this cold 4-betting range of mine should be quite strong. So if my opponent does indeed jam, yeah, his range should be like kings plus. So pretty annoying board. But I still think I just have to go with a small c-bet on this board. He's definitely going to be peeling pre with like suited broadways that are mostly going to be check folding on this board. So he does check call. Pretty good turn. I mean, he doesn't really have, I do block ace 9 of hearts. He shouldn't really have 6s and 4s. So I think I just bet very, very small on this turn. Either bet small and check back and look at the bluff catch river. I feel like maybe checking back, looking at bluff catch river might be slightly better. 10 is annoying because you can definitely have pocket 10s. But yeah, pretty easy river call. I mean, it's tough. I mean, he could also be value betting ace queen suited, maybe like ace queen of clubs or something, but I can never fold. Whoa. Okay, we'll talk about that. Whoa, what? Mostly 4-betting here. I didn't randomize or anything, but yeah, this is going to be a very high frequency 4-bet. So we do get PL. Looks like, yeah, no one really falls to 4 bets. Okay, well, I think on this 10-4 deuce board, mostly just betting pretty small. We do lose to pocket 10s, and I guess, and occasionally some of his traps pre, but still a really good board. That would be a pretty annoying turn on if he calls, because I think he has pocket 9s in pure there. Okay, I'm just going to open this back up to get that hand. And we'll just sit out. Okay, so, I mean, I guess not too much to say here, but yeah, our opponent 3-bet, peel to 4-bet, check call flop. So I guess, yeah, it worked out in this exact... Oh, I feel like, is that him? Okay, well, yeah, okay, that's certainly him. So I'm just going to keep note of his stack size. Okay, so he has 844, so we'll keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, nothing too much to comment other than, like, sometimes you get these type of players, I guess. I haven't seen someone like this type of profile in a while. But yeah, I guess sometimes they just run up big stacks by just playing super, super loose. So we'll try to... So this is the player on table 2. It'll be seat 1. Jack 9 suited is going to be strong enough to ISO. If you get limp array, is obviously an easy fold. Ace 3 suited. I guess potentially. Like, I mean, usually this is like the top of my folding range under the gun, I guess. But potentially 2 weaker players, I don't mind opening it up. Seems like the pool is slightly more active this evening, so I don't mind going to a flop multi-way. This is interesting. I mean, yeah, it's a great board. I think I still probably want to just bet. The problem is that, like, on this board, like, I'm just pretty dead to, like, hands like 4-5 suited and deuces, but you can still get value from some weaker aces, some flush draws. Definitely need to be cautious. Like, I'm very unsure, to be honest, of, like, my c-betting strategy in these spots because they're just so infrequent. Okay, so I think on this turn I got to go pretty large. Because I think he still continues with hands like ace-5 and ace-4 suited, and if he has a hand like ace-jack, or if he has like a hand like the nut flush draw or like 9x of hearts, he'll certainly call with all those hands. So now on the river, it's a question of check call or bet. I kind of lean towards check because I just feel like, wow. Yeah, I feel like I just have to call this combo here. Wow. Oh, he called flop. That's sick. He called flop 5 ways. Okay, so basically the logic there was, I think that if he has a hand like 4-5 suited or pocket deuces, he just raises the flop. And I think that if he has a hand like ace-6, he folds the turn, especially because ace-6 of hearts is not a combo because the ace is a heart. So I don't think he has that either. And then basically I just, so like those are the only evaluations I can think of, right? Are like 4-5 suited, which I think raises the flop. Pocket deuces, which arguably raises the flop. And then that's it. But he somehow caught me off guard with the turned offsuit set. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. I mean, the question is, like, is he going to bluff in that spot, like, for 1.5x pot? That's hard to say. But I think that if you give someone the opportunity to bluff in a spot like that one, they'll take it, like, enough of the time. Like, that's really tough. I feel like even if I had more time, I would end up calling, just because I think I have a pretty good bluff catcher. Like, blocking... Yeah, I just think of a good bluff catcher. I mean, I don't block any of his bluffs. And there's a lot of like natural, like reasonable bluffs you could have. You could even be bluffing a hand like 9x of hearts. That would definitely be possible. Yeah, that's a tough one. Nines, I mean, I hate it, but I'm just going to jam. Yeah, and I think it's close. Fair battle. And then the pocket nines over here, we're going to be check raising. Sizing is tricky. There's a ton of draws on this board. To me, raising a lot. So when you have bottom set, you definitely want to be pretty aggressive with it. A really, really good turn. The question is sizing, so I don't want to go too large. I think I can just get it in with him. Because he has a lot of hands that are drawing dead, right? Hands like ace-king and ace-queen. So I'm going to choose like an intermediate size that looks kind of draw heavy, and I think he might just stick it in with a hand like ace-king or ace-queen. Okay, well hopefully he did that. Okay. That's pretty sick. Yeah, I mean there's nothing much to do there. Hopefully we don't get a good hand right now. Okay, I'm just going to rebuy and go to the next hand. Okay, pretty good flop for the king 10. Just going to be small c-betting this board. This is pretty bizarre. So our opponent leaves for pot. I don't think I have any raises on this board. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he could definitely just have a 10, hopefully a weaker one. And yeah, we'll just go from there. Very frustrating turn. You can definitely have hearts for sure. But if he pots again, I think I'm forced to call because I still think he could have some worse value. Some hands like 10-9, 10-8, Jack 10, Queen 10. So I'm just going to call and we'll take a river. I'm not too worried, to be honest. I'm more worried about the river changing the board. So that does change the board in a sense that I do lose to Jack 10 now. So if he pots the river, very, very easy fold. And if he bets half pot, very easy call. And if he checks, I'll be value betting for sure. So to me, this feels like he's thin value betting, like 10-9, 10-8, or Queen 10. I'm going to go for a pretty thin raise. Like, I think I'm good there very often. I feel like we lost action because of the turn. So ace-9, I go for a larger bet on the flop. Not having any clubs in my hand. I think on the turn I can size up a bit. He has some hands like king x of clubs. He has some straight draws that may continue, and he definitely has some flush draws that'll continue as well. So I think I can just mostly big bet the turn with ace-9 and then check back most rivers. So like that king 10 hand, if it was against like a regular, that would be a very, very easy river call, would never be raising. But I think against that type of player, I think I can definitely have some raises, like some thin raises, and that would be the absolute bottom of my value range. So pretty good board with the 6 deuce. I do get, with the 6-5 suited, I do get check raised on 6-6 deuce. Just gonna be a very easy call. So that's a good turn for my opponent's range, because you'll probably be check raising some 5-3 suited, some 5-4 suited. He goes for like this weird bet. So this bet just seems like he has like, it seems like either he's going for like a cheap bluff or like maybe a thin value bet, like a hand like 4 or 5 suited, maybe a hand like ace deuce. But yeah, very easy call. I don't really have any other choice here. Pretty clean river. Nothing changes at all. He checks. Because when he checks, I think I can go pretty polar on the river because my value range on the river is basically going to be like a queen or better. If I had, and I'm going to have some flush draws that floated the turn, like some ace-3, ace-5 of spades, king-jack of spades, king-10 of spades that peeled the flop. I think I would peel with all those hands. When I get check raised, cut off for spig line on a board like 6-6 deuce, I don't think I'm going to be folding any of my overcards and backdoor flush draws. So I end up with a lot of like natural bluffs on the river. So I think I can go pretty large when I actually have it.